Now, if you haven't noticed, I did an internal study on that. And of about 100 awards and scholarships that were awarded to our high achieving kids in Joe Davies County, about 100, 95 of those kids were going out of state to school. Now, why is it so critical that we receive this endorsement from the president at Northern Illinois University? Our kids can get on the Twin Cities Zephyr and get to DeKalb and take classes and keep money in Illinois. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. I'm Tom Reinert. I'm with Galena Country Tourism. We have a series of events for 2024 on tonight's agenda. Just wanted to thank you in advance for your consideration and your continued support, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jim Boho, 1477 South Rocky Hill Road, Rice Township, Galena. The Galena River Watershed Inventory and the Galena River Watershed Plan were developed with protecting the resource inventory that was brought forward by the League of Women Voters. And based on this protection of water resources, won the League of Women Voters a national award. Protection is the key word. Nowhere does it bring out the word development of a watershed. It also states that the monies brought forward from the 319 grants are based on prevention of pollution of water, not development. This watershed inventory was used to put together the Galena Watershed Plan. However, the same inventory can be used in conjunction with other plans. I have been working with the county in efforts to maintain and stabilize Blackjack Road as it enters the county from Galena. It is literally falling in to Davis Creek. Tonight, I'm here to bring information on an expert, an impartial expert on this subject, the watershed. This inventory of the Galena watershed has a lot of resources behind it. This is just one plan that was from it. It has a lot of, you can use it. She can tell you, Rebecca Olson can explain to you all the uses that this has that you have not really resourced out and looked at. So that is what I'm here tonight. I'm here to introduce you to Rebecca. She's did the Winneshiek Creek Watershed Program. She wrote it and edited it. So she has a lot to bring forward of any questions on any types of watershed, and especially the Galena watershed that we all took part in to protect and not develop. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, is there anything else, anybody else like to address the council at this time? Come on up.
Amelia Wilson, 505 Park Avenue. Just really quick, I just saw this, I've been kind of having some health issues, but I've been on the loop that the public restrooms are being planned to be put where the old drive-through, the bank drive-through was, and I am here to say that I think that is a terrible idea. We need something by Washington Park, and as much as I don't want it next to my building, I was told that there was already a $40,000 drawing for that location that was paid for, some architecture plans. The park looks terrible behind it anyways, that back wall, and people cannot make it that far. There's 5 or 6 more blocks of stores and restaurants where they're not even open during the day. There are no restrooms. I deal with it every single day at my location where they're trying to sneak in my side door and people cannot hold it to even get to City Hall. So I just don't know how far you are along with that. it doesn't even have to be fancy in there, or can you do a second one? But I think doing it on the other end of town makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Is there anybody else at this time wishing to address the council on anything? Okay, then let's move ahead with the agenda. We have no public hearings tonight. We have no elected commission tonight. Let's move right into consent agenda CA 24-3. Do I have some type of motion on that? Alderperson Katie Wynn.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda CA 24-3.
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Alderperson Kiefer, bless you. Is there any questions on any of them? Hearing nothing, take roll call on the consent agenda motion.
Johnson? Kiefer?
Yes.
Stegmeyer?
Yes.
Westmeyer?
Yes.
Weenan? Yes. Bernstein? Yes.
Yes, motion carries. Let's go ahead and, unfinished business, we have none there. Let's move ahead to new business. Item number 24C-0053 is discussion and possible action on agreement with Straka Johnson Architects for the 403 South Main Street Public Restroom Project. Do I have some type of motion on this agenda item? Alderperson Cindy Taylor.
I make a motion to approve the action and go forward with the agreement with Straka Johnson Architects for the 403 South Main Street Public Restroom Project, item 24C-0053.
And would you like to put in not to exceed the dollar amount?
Yes, I would,
Okay,
if someone could tell.
it's 29,760.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, not to exceed that.
Not to exceed $29,760.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
It's moved and second on item number 240053. Is there a discussion? Cindy, do you have anything to elaborate on that?
I just think that to go forward and find out, get a professional plan and find out what it's gonna take and what it's gonna cost and the timeline and all of that, and to have someone that we've used in the community before, seems like a good idea.
Anybody else? Alderperson Pam, I think I have enough to each of it.
Yeah, I'd just like to, point out the, responses we got from some of the business owners and, David Schmidt as well. I think that as we move forward, we should take a look at some of those suggestions and see whether they might be workable. And perhaps, and of course, we need a discussion with, Galena Country, because some of those ideas, were directed towards an information center.
Jerry?
I disagree with putting almost 30,000 for an architect to draw plans for that. Go forward with it, put another 300,000 into a building just for bathrooms on the far end of town. I think I agree with Amelia that if we're gonna look at bathrooms, we should go back, I think it was in the 80s or 90s, a study about putting a bathroom there and just get information to see what that would cost, or this extra money that we could get for the building, the 200,000 or 300,000 that we want to put into that building, that could put into that building. We could be using that to do a study, because we all know we have issues with affordable housing. And we could be using that money to look at affordable housing in Galena, because we don't have it.
Katie?
Yeah, my thought hasn't changed since the last time we talked about it. I don't know how clear it is, 200 to 300,000. We saw plans before for, a concept of a restroom there. I think $30,000 is a waste of money, and I do think Amelia's right. It has to be up here by Washington Park there. I think as far as the suggestions that the GDB had in there, that people can park over at the depot lot, and it's a great avenue to get people over to their office, and beautiful office. So I'm not gonna repeat what Westy said, but I think there's a lot of other options to do with that money.
Cindy Johnson.
Yeah, I believe that that building with the parking spaces that collect money when people park there generates the money that will be needed to, at least be the maintenance for the bathrooms. Then possibly we can use money from other parking spaces to pay for Marty Johnson's, architectural plans. And we own the building. It's in a great space for people that just first get into town. They can stop there, they can charge their phones, they can get water, they can get information right at the beginning of town. And it's on Main Street. New employees don't have to say, you go across the street, turn left, turn right, just go outside, it's right down that way or that way. Everybody can find it.
Motion
Sure,
carried.
yeah, I'm so in favor of it, but are the plans still available for that one up in, you still have?
Yeah, they're,
I do want to look at them, if that's an option. You know,
Yeah. Alderperson,
I don't care where we put them, I just think we need more restrooms.
Cindy, did you have your,
Yes, thank you. I think that you were both on the council when this was purchased. I was not, neither was Cindy, and it was purchased for the use of parking or restrooms. That's why the city bought that property. I don't think it's wise to go back to a study from the 80s or 90s that's 30 or 40 years old to try to glean something of the issues that we're having today. I do agree with Cindy Johnson that I think there's creative ways for the parking itself to pay for the restrooms and the construction. I think we need a professional opinion and a plan so that we really know what money we need to earn. I also think there are ways for advertisers to, have displays in there, and it could be it could support itself and help everyone. And it doesn't preclude housing. It doesn't preclude a possible additional restroom someday further down Main Street. It is a decision in and of itself for what to do with that property that you purchased.
okay, thanks, Cindy. Any other discussion here? Alderperson,
Yeah, well, I think I'd like to comment on what Jerry said. If we were at some, now or at some point in the future, to consider a restroom on a different part of Main Street, I think we would still have to have some sort of a study, that $27,000 that we're considering now there would be a comparable cost, because I agree with Cindy that plans are probably kind of obsolete. We would want something new. It's just a comment I have.
well, I think, I had voted for this restaurant, I voted for buying this building. Complaints we get from the city of Galena people and also from the visitors, is that there's not enough parking, there's not enough restaurants. There's not enough retail space on Main Street, and we look at this, and at least we got a little parking and we got a little restroom. Now, if we move ahead with a restroom or a building up on Washington, maybe it could be a great asset too, up to Washington Park. I think right now we own the building. I think this is what we should take myself. It's going to help alleviate some of the problems that some of the businesses have with people coming in and wanting to use the restrooms, which is really set up for public use, I guess. But saying that, any other discussion? Take roll call. Very good.
Hebert,
Yes.
Hickman,
Yes.
Westman,
no,
Weenan,
No.
Bernstein. Yes. Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right. Let's move ahead to item number 24C-0054. Discussion and possible action on an agreement for auditing services. I have some type of Alderperson.
I will we approve action on an agreement for auditing service with LIPFI, is that how you say that? In the amount of $203,525. Item 24C-0054.
Second.
All right, if we move to second item number 24C-0054, to go with Whitley for that amount of $203,525. That discussion on this, Alderperson.
Well, the firm has been highly recommended by the county. They've done work for the county, so I think it makes sense. They were the lowest bid, but I also think that it looks like we would get good service from them.
Alderperson Katie.
I just comment, I agree with Pam, as much as I like to keep things local, I think it is good to switch to the accounting firm, so that was another factor for myself.
Oh, Connor Brooks has done a good job too, also, in the last 15 years or so. But yeah, this being a lower bid and whatnot, I think it'd be a good for our financial status to get something different in there, take a new eyes on the books. All right, any other discussion? Take roll call, real quick.
Tegler?
Yes.
Westmeyer?
Yes.
Weenan? Yes. Bernstein?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes, motion carries. Let's move ahead then, item number 24C-0055, it's the warrants. Do I have a motion on the warrants? Alderperson Pam Bernstein.
I move we, pay the warrants, item 24C-0055.
Second, move second, on paying the bills, any questions on any of them? Take roll call, Lily Beth.
Westmeyer?
Yes.
Weenan?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yes.
Tegler?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes, motion carries. Let's move ahead then, item number 24C-0056, Alderperson's comments. Alderperson Pam Bernstein.
Excuse me, yes. In reading the reports from the department heads, I see that the pool is in the market for both an air conditioner and a new boiler. And there was one other department as well that needs a new furnace. And I'm just wondering whether we're taking a look at heat pumps when we look around for what we should do to replace those old
Check on that.
Yeah, I think my understanding is they're more expensive, but they're also more efficient, so I think it might be worth looking into.
Alderperson Drury.
Nothing.
Alderperson Katie.
Just wanted to add for Mark's list, if we could look into adding to the agenda, if another council person supports it, the possibility for having people under the age of 21, over 18 and 21 still asset certified to serve alcohol at the businesses within Galena.
Anything else, Katie?
No, thank you.
Alderperson Drury, Katie.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Alderperson Katie's, Cindy Johnson.
Is this where I would say that I would also support, changing the rules to make 18-year-olds able to start?
That's all you have to say. That's it. It's called Alderperson's comments. It's not debatable, it's just your comments. Anything else, Cindy?
That's
Alderperson Cindy Taylor.
I'd like to congratulate the Galena wrestling team at sectionals and Will Anderson for qualifying for state. I'd like to congratulate the 5 members of the Galena speech team for making it to sectionals this Saturday, and for Emma Blanc getting first place in oratorical declamation and advancing to state. And I would like to remind everyone and encourage them to apply. There are applications being accepted right now for Galena's first poet laureate. You can go to galenalibrary.org and find out more about how to apply. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. All right, then let's move ahead to item number 24C-0057, City Administrator Report, Mark.
Thank you. We've been waiting for the new light poles for the Highway 20 bridge. They have arrived, but bad news is that there are some parts needed for the installation and they're back ordered to about May probably. So we'll wait a little longer. And I don't like to give bad news, but the second one is bad news also. And we had applied for a regional grant for EV charging stations in our parking lot next door here. That was through Blackhawk Hills Regional Council, and that grant was not successful. So we are, Blackhawk Hills is evaluating why it was not successful, and we will look at the possibility of applying again. One way or another, I think we need to address that need for charging, so I'm presenting some charging capability in the next budget.
Okay, thank you. Let's move ahead to item 24C-0058, Mayor's Report. I got a comment on the street sweeper being out early, and the town was great, clean and whatnot. And Alderperson Tegmeyer got a second what you were saying. There were so many first places in the Gazette there, and it's just amazing how the kids in basketball, we've got a great school and great kids up there this year, and the one gentleman for the wrestling program going down that street. All right. At this time, I'll move ahead to item number 24C-0059. It's a motion for executive session. I'll entertain a motion for executive session for what is listed there.
Make a motion for executive session, including section 2C2, collective negotiating matters and deliberations concerning salary schedules, section 2C11, pending probable or litigation, section 2C21, reviewing executive session minutes, item 24C-0059.
Second.
All right. Move to second for executive session, take roll call.
Yes.
Bernstein? Yes. Johnson?
Yes.
Seaver? Stegmeyer?
Yes.
Rossmarin?
Yes.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you all.